Welcome to Outlaw Edge. This video is going to be kind of tough. Today, we lost a legend. One of the most, in my opinion, one of the most badass car builders on the planet. Jean Winfield passed away. And I wouldn't say he was one of my best friends or really good friends, but he was a friend of mine, you know. Got to know him really good. I'm from Stockton, California. And he was born and raised in Modesto, California, which is like 45 minutes from where I lived. And I got to know him really good as a kid growing up. All the car shows, all the swap meets, anything to do with, you know, automotive related events or whatever. But the dashboard that you see behind me, that's actually out of Jean Winfield's car. And I'll tell you the story about that in a minute, but I'm just totally bummed, I'm blown away. 97 years old, and he built cars up until he was 97 years old. And you know, he's told in the past, he's told stories about where he started at. You know, a lot of these car customizers start in these big $1 million shops or whatever. Back in the day, Jean Winfield started in his mom's backyard in a chicken coop. You know, he would bring a car in there and customize it. And back then, customizing a car was simple stuff. It was like, you know, putting on a set of fender skirts or, I don't know, little things that they would do to the cars back in the, you know, in that era. And but the guy was a legend. You know, he started small and grew into one of the most amazing car builders ever known. And I want to say that, like, I've met Barris. I thought the guy was a jackass. I didn't like him at all. He's gone. Bill Hines, he's gone. Bill Hines was an absolute sweetheart. Loved him to pieces. It was really cool to my son, Bill Hines, actually. He's one of the legends of the car builders community and whatever, the custom car builders. Bill Hines actually let my son drive one of his cars at the Merced Custom Cars of America, Merced car show in California. And he was, my son was probably 11 or 12, something like that. And that was really cool. We were talking to him and stuff, and Bill said, "Hey, can you help me bring my car over here," or whatever. And so that was neat. I got a bunch of pictures of that, whatever. I might do another video if I can find pictures of me with Jean Winfield and my son with Bill Hines and Jean Winfield and all those guys. Gator and Frank Livingston and, you know, Larry Watson, like all these guys that were legends back in the day in California. You know, I looked up to those guys, especially like Frank Livingston. He used to go to our house and stuff when I was a kid. We used to do this big car show at, well, I should say it's our house, it's our old house. My dad sold our house. It was a big mansion in California. And then Pete Paulson started doing these car shows there. Well, as I was getting a little bit older, Frank Livingston would be out there. We'd be hanging out with him, and all these, like Jean Winfield and all these guys, they'd be out there at the car show. It was a great big car show that they put on out there at our old house, you know. And Pete Paulson was a good friend of my mom's, and so it was always, we were always welcome inside the house, down in the basement, out in the garage, whatever. We were running around as kids out there, you know, because they were family friends. And you know, to get to know Jean Winfield, he's not like any other car customizer, car builder I've ever met in my life. The guy was a sweetheart, absolute angel. And he would take you, as a kid, he would take you under his wing. And if you wanted to learn, that guy would teach you anything he could. He was just knowledge, all knowledge. That's all he was. And you know, learned so many tricks from him. But he's gonna be missed. And like Inzi Mopar Outlaw Customs and San Diego Damien, this morning when I was talking to him, or earlier when I was talking to him, they were saying, you know, he's the OG legend, and that's the truth. He's the last one. He's the last one out of all the guys when I was a kid, all those guys I used to meet. I mean, Ed Roth, all those guys, man. At least I can't believe they're all gone now. Jean Winfield was the last one, you know. But I wrote some notes down real quick. I don't want them to make this real long, but one of the things is I already talked about his chicken coop. That's where he started from, you know, in his mom's backyard and everything, which I thought was really cool. But in 2019, I'll tell you how cool Jean Winfield is. The guy would meet you and he would never ever forget you. I didn't see him for about 20 years or maybe 25 years. It was a long time, you know. And I'd see him at car shows every once in a while and just say hi to him real quick and go up and give him a hug and whatever. And, you know, like the guy was a friend, you know, that's what I consider him as, you know. But we were, 2019, we were at SEMA, and me and Heidi are walking along, and Jean Winfield's, she's like, hey, that's Jean Winfield right there. And I was like, oh man, I gotta go say hi to him. And people were getting his autograph and stuff. And when everybody kind of moved out of the way, I started walking up, and he's like, hey, Arco, and he gets up, gives me a big old hug and everything, and he's in one of those like wheelchair deals, like a little scooter thing and whatever. And I was blown away. I mean, that guy, he's so smart, and like he just passed away at 97 years old, and he was still building cars, still painting and building cars, and he's a master, you know, he's a master at it, and he's taught so many people. Super cool guy. He's definitely gonna be missed, that's for sure. So Turlock Swap Meet, Inzi Mopar was just talking about this in his video, so I'll touch on that a little bit. So I was young, real young, and I wouldn't say I was broke, but you know, working odd jobs here and there, whatever. And I was at Turlock Swap Meet, and I was building some cars, and I was spending some money on the stuff that I was trying to get put together, whatever. And I saw Jean Winfield, and I started talking to him and hanging out with him because, like I said, I used to see him all the time, and he was a huge idol to me. He was a god in the car world, you know. So I'm looking at all his cars, and they're getting ready to leave. It's like at the end of the swap meet and whatever, and they were loading up a couple really, really nice cars, and there was a couple junked out cars, clapped out, you know. I mean, he had a few different cars out there, but there was a couple Mercuries that I was looking at, and one of them I was just like, oh man, just like drooling over this thing. I was like, I'd love to chop it and drop it and do a couple things to it and whatever. And he kind of heard me and whatever, and he walks up, and he's like, well, why don't you buy it? I said, oh, I don't have the money for that. And I don't remember what he wanted for it. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't a lot of money, but I want to say it was like $3,500 or something, $4,000, I don't know. And like I said, this was a clapped out car. This was like rusty floorboards, you know, it'd been parked in the field forever, no motor, no transmission, whatever. But as a young kid, I'm looking at this thing thinking, you know, I was maybe like 18, 19 years old. I'm drooling over this car thinking what I could do to it. And he's seen that. And I said, I wish I had the money to buy it. I'd love to. And he's like, well, what do you got in your wallet? And I was like, no, it's, you know, whatever, you know, joking around with me and stuff. And he goes, no, I'm serious. He goes, whatever you have in your wallet, whatever you can afford, I'll sell it to you. And I was like, oh yeah, whatever. And I kind of joked around and stuff. And he's like, no, I'm serious. Like, what do you got? And I was like, what, are you kidding? So I pulled my wallet out. I literally had 25 bucks on me. He handed me the title. Well, the guy behind him handed it to him, and then Jean Winfield handed me the title for this Mercury. I was like, what? I had no way to even get the car home. So I had some help with the car, you know, friends and family, whatever. We got a trailer there in a truck, and I was absolutely blown away, man. Just the guy, like I said, the guy was so cool, and he's always been so family oriented, and it's always been about, you know, helping people, teaching people, and whatever. And there's a lot of hot rodder guys and street rodder guys, fabricators, welders. They don't want to teach their art. It's a lost art is what they have. You know, they don't want to teach that. Not him. He was like, you know, put it out there. He wanted to teach people. And I love that. I thought that was super cool. And he told me, he's like, hey, if you're going to take that car home and you're going to build it, I want you to have it, you know? And I was like, wow, blew me away. And a lot of people nowadays that they don't want that lost art or their skills going anywhere. They won't teach you. They won't show you. They're stuck up. They're conceited. And it sucks, man. It's, you know, it's up to people like us now because Jean Winfield's gone. You know, all these metal fabricators, car customizers, you know, from the 40s and 50s and whatever, they're gone. They're history, you know. And like I said, he's the OG. He's the last one, and he's not coming back, you know. He's going to be missed. But I don't know, that's enough of that. But anyways, this dashboard you see right here, that car that I got from Jean Winfield, I had it all tore apart in my garage and whatever, and chopped and did a bunch of badass stuff to it. And this guy wanted to buy it, and I really didn't want to sell it. And I had a different style dash in it, but this one was always on my shop wall. You see his autograph right there and everything from Jean Winfield. I've had this for years and years and years when I bought that car from him, you know. And so put it on my shop wall, always had it. And when I got this shop, I was like, that's the first thing that's going on the wall, you know. And super cool that I have something from Jean Winfield, you know. He's gonna be missed. The guy is epic, you know. But I don't know. I mean, I hope his family and everybody's all right, you know. I know for a while he had some problems with that crazy bitch that was, you know, messing with him and stealing from him and hurting him and everything else. And I don't know, he's in a better place now. So, but sorry that I rambled on. I just wanted to throw this out here. I'm gonna get back to work. I'm doing some body work and stuff today, trying to get this truck out of here. And I don't know, I wanted to share a video with you. I was talking to Glenn, NZ Mopar, and he was like, hey, you should, you know, tell that story. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that real quick. But Jean Winfield, we're gonna miss you.